Playing without recall, is it possible, and what will you get from it? Hey guys, Scarletz here. So is it possible to not recall in Mobile Legends? Well, of course, that's what I've been doing with my favorite hero Ruby since her spell vamp is really great. But not every hero have that kind of regenerative ability, and relying solely on the regen spell won't be enough either. Well, I'll be talking about it later, but first, here are the pros and cons of not recalling in-game. Starting from the first benefit, you'll be getting more gold and XP obviously since no minions will be missed. And this will be even more beneficial in the early game because you can just plate their turret for extra gold if you're able to make them recall, so your GPM and XPM gap will be soaring even compared to your own teammates. And even when you are getting cornered, just staying under your turret will prevent them from plating for gold. But you'll need to be really careful because when you're low on HP and still insist on healing through just skills or minions instead of recalling, then this can actually lure the enemy to gang you. So instead of gaining an advantage, you'll just end up losing more because if you die, your enemy can freely plate your turret and you'll also miss a lot of minions. So the downside of forcing yourself not to recall is, you'll become an easy target, and dying will lead you to a major laning disadvantage. And yeah, you can also miss some minions if your enemy frees your lane. So recall or not recalling? Well, it all depends on the situation, condition, map awareness, and your own survival instinct. If you feel like you can heal through minions, then that's great because it can prevent your enemy to plate your turret or having a free scavenger crab if you're an XP or gold laner, and you won't be missing any minions either. But if you feel like you really need to recall, then just go for it because if you don't and end up dying, you'll get even more gold from killing you. And that's probably the conclusion for this video. But hold on, there's actually another benefit from not recalling. That is, it will be easier for you to gang and join team fights, especially if the war is happening near the enemy base. So rather than recalling, you can just use your skills or look for minions or jungle monsters nearby to heal while heading into the fray. While the other downside is, some heroes will have trouble with their mana, but this can actually be handled by choosing non-mana heroes, stealing the enemy's blue buff, or by getting items with mana regen abilities. Now, who is more likely able to keep fighting without recalling too much? Well, almost everyone can do it. For starters, all skillcaster heroes can benefit from emblems and talents like Fighter Emblem, Festival of Blood, and Brave Smite, so they can just use their skills to replenish their health. Items, of course, will be playing a major role. All kinds of spell vamp, lifesteal, and regen items can help any hero to stay in lane without needing to recall. For example, if I'm using a marksman against poking heroes, I can just buy a vampire mallet and upgrade it to Has Claws as my first item, while also using the marksman emblem for extra lifesteal and quantum charge. Healer support heroes can of course provide healing to their teammates. That's why I said almost everyone can do it, since it can also depends on the team's draft. And it also comes down to each hero's strengths, skills, and unique abilities. Some heroes are just naturally built to sustain themselves in lane without needing to recall too often. And there is just way too many heroes with that kind of unique ability for me to mention, so I'll just tell you my favorites. For fighters, of course, Ruby, Hilda, Kalia, Harlot, and Alpha. Yeah, those 5 are my favorites. Again, my favorite heroes for fighter role, even without using the fighter emblem and talent. For assassins, I love Hellguards out of combat regen, and who else? I don't think I have anyone else for that role. For tanks, there are many that I love, like Uranus, Franco, and of course my second main hero, Elise. As for marksman, I think I only have Ixia for me. The rest usually need lifesteal items or emblems to stay in the lane. Moving on to mage, it's Lunox for me, but it's quite unfortunate that Cynthia needs to hit enemy heroes to gain spell vamp. Otherwise, she could have joined Lunox as one of my favorites. And lastly, support heroes. All healer support can work, but for me, the one that can heal the most is definitely Estus. So that's all for today's video. Feel free to mention your own favorite way or heroes to stay in the lane without recalling. Thanks for watching and see you around.